As listed, you all aware the natural ventilation in built environment during and beyond COVID-19. So we have the expert speaker, Dr. Harimohan Pillai sir is with us. In brief, if I have to introduce the expert, he is an architect. He comes from Trichur in Kerala as a well-known, both as professional and in education field in terms of planning and architecture. To say that to his credit, he worked as a deputy project manager, architect in foreign building operations in US Embassy New Delhi, and also a private practitioner since 1983. Dr. Harimohan Pillai has a rich experience as a part of the academic institutions like JJ College of Architecture, working as a reader academics, as a principal in Pillai's College of Architecture, Navi Mumbai, and also the head MES School of Architecture. And also he is to visit as a guest faculty for many architecture and planning institutions in India since 2006. He got the privilege to serve Council of Architects as a member, as a UG Board of Studies, and also he is a member of School of Planning and Architecture, Vijayawada 2019. Sir, I would like to request you to make your presentation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Razak, Professor Adinarayana, and Professor Ayon for getting me into this session. I'm very thankful to you. Professor Mohan Singh has already put before you the big picture of the city to have a resilient and livable future. Now, somehow in the last 2 months or close to 3 months, a big hypocrisy is revealed to all of us. The hypocrisy of the civilized world, I would say, because we have realized more affluent a person, less the person or family or people are connected with the nature. This is something which we have realized in the last 2 or 3 months. Now, because we as human beings have ended up with a mask. We started with a fig leaf long ago, and today we have ended up with a mask, and we are walking around with the mask in the beautiful natural environment that we all have. Nature has given us. So natural ventilation in built environment during and beyond COVID is the topic that I thought I will discuss. Before I could start working on this, the organizers gave me a list of many questions. I mean, these questions are, already started arising in the minds of participants who are here. And I also have same questions. In fact, I have not found answers to all these questions which you have raised. I am also searching for answers. And maybe I will pose more questions here. And in fact, collectively, we all have to now sit together and work for a beyond COVID-19 situation and look for answers to this. Now look at this. Ventilation today means this in COVID times. Unfortunately, we understand ventilation as this. We all know that natural ventilation is an essential process that ensures continuous rejuvenation of energy to live. Our body needs natural ventilation all the time. Our breathing is nothing but natural ventilation for our body system to maintain what is known as prana in our body. So that is why in Yogasana, they say regulated breathing is called pranayama for healthy living. So when this ventilation is affected, the ventilation of our body is affected due to some reason, we have to put ourselves into a supporting system called the ventilator. So today ventilation means a ventilator, unfortunately. And this is what a single human being is subjected to today. In many hospitals across the world, data is already provided by Professor Mohan Singh on what is happening across the world. And what is happening across the world? There are migrants everywhere, migrants in search of a comfortable place to continue rest of their life. In fact, what I find is that human beings becomes migrant little later. COVID is the fastest migrant in the world. because COVID is riding a piggy riding a migrant and just gets a migrant as a host and travels all over the world. This is how COVID started migrating from one end of the world to the entire world. And it has made uh, us human beings migrate from one place to another in search of comfortable living. Look at, you can see two kinds of migrants in this set of images that I have created. One set of migrants belong to the affluent world. You know, people who fly, people who live in air-conditioned spaces, people who live totally protected from the vagaries of nature or even the comforts which nature has already provided all of us. And the other set of migrants you can see here are people whom we call the have-nots. Look at them; they continue to live in the natural environment, but they are forced to put this mask, cutting them off from the very prana which is responsible for their life. This is amazing that we have created a bigger inequality in this world by way of creating two separate set of migrants, and they are all migrants running from one space to another. But that was because the ventilation in the human body is affected because of a small virus called COVID-19. What about natural ventilation in architecture or built form in which we reside, all of us individuals and families reside? See, the definition of natural ventilation in architecture has been inletting of outdoor air into a space to control indoor air quality by diluting and displacing indoor pollutants, control indoor temperature, humidity, and air motion to benefit thermal comfort. This is a modern day definition of natural ventilation, created with after maybe scientific study. But this was always known to human beings since ancient times, since the time human beings started making shelters, especially in the tropical world, because we all know that in the tropical world, it is next to impossible to survive without natural ventilation. And you can see this in if you study architecture of the tropical world, which I have studied and I have done my research PhD into this particular aspect. Natural ventilation has been essential part of all vernacular and traditional built forms. You go to any village in India, you go to any vernacular or traditional built form. India specifically, because India has got multiple climate conditions, more tropical in nature. So in all these tropical hot humid climates, three different types of ventilation systems happen: the wind-driven ventilation, pressure-driven flow, and stack ventilation. Aware of it. All of us architects who have studied this in detail as part of climatology are aware of it. Where has all this knowledge system, which has been there as part of our built forms, traditional built forms, gone today? Look at the kind of traditional built forms which we have created in our world, the kind of houses that breathe for humans to breathe. We only have to travel from the north of India to the south of India, from the east of India to the west of India. We will see 8 different climatic conditions and fascinating traditional breathing spaces in a kind of an architectural zoning of India, which I have tried to create here. Whether you go to Rajasthan or Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, there are fascinating houses that breathe for humans who breathe. And this is all documented, very well known to all of us as architects. Ventilation in transition spaces. We already knew for centuries how to create this. This is a simple example of a small 200, 300-year-old house which still exists in a village in Kerala. Transitional airlock. When you come from outside, hot sunshine, before you enter the main household, you enter into a transitional airlock space where the air temperature suddenly comes down, well ventilated space, where you take rest for some time or where you relax and talk to your friends. And then you move into your inner spaces, ventilation and transition spaces. We already knew about this. Ventilation at many levels. You see, the modern day architecture talks about only ventilation at fixed levels. We have fixed the levels of ventilation. We have something called a fixed sill level, fixed ventilator level, fixed beam bottom level, and so on. But if you look at traditional built forms, especially in our country, you will find ventilation at many levels, not necessarily at a fixed level. Here is an example of a wonderful ventilation which allows light as well as air at floor level. It is the floor, actually, this is the landing of a stair. You come up the stair and you reach a landing which is not only ventilated with light but air as well. And these kind of ventilators you find at each floor level in houses in Kerala, very old, 200, 300-year-old houses in Kerala. I'm sure not only in Kerala, but I'm sure in many traditional households across India, you will find not a fixed level of ventilation, but varying levels of ventilation at different levels. Ventilation at work level. This is another fascinating example. We sit to work. So when we work, in the absence of active systems of ventilation in ancient times, and I say ancient times, just about 100 years ago, before air conditioning came into picture, we needed at work surface ventilation. Look at this fascinating detail of a house somewhere in Malappuram, where the window shutter becomes a table. You open the window shutter, sit on the table and work, and the window opens up to give you excellent ventilation while you work, sit or study at that table. Ventilation at roof level. So I was talking about ventilation at different levels in the built form, which ensures that stack is continuously removed, air is maintained fresh for breathing, and air continuously circulates in the built form to remove all stale air. Now this is stack level ventilation at roof level, where we keep storage equipments, etc. in the old ancient households, but wonderful ventilation at roof level. The volume of that space, which is the roof, also has ventilation to ensure that from the spaces below, living spaces below, there is continuous ventilation to upper levels and out into the open air. So all these things also work as a buffer to ensure temperature control in the spaces which are designed below these roof spaces. Ventilation as a built form statement. Kerala's traditional architecture, if you look at the built forms, they are actually a built form statement of wonderful ventilation in tropical climate. Though this is not a built form which was made in the ancient time, but this is inspired from ancient traditional architecture having wonderful ventilation. Survive in naturally ventilated spaces. This is a question I'm asking. How do we find out whether COVID can survive or get destroyed in naturally ventilated spaces? For this, we need to do a survey. All these built forms, can anybody study to find out whether people who are living in these built forms or people who go back to their villages, migrants who are going back to their villages, when they are living in those built forms, does COVID survive there? This is a question to be asked. We know very well that COVID has become a migrant which just captures a host, especially all those hosts have been living in air-conditioned environment, getting treated in air-conditioned environment in hospitals, traveling in air-conditioned environments such as aircrafts, going through air-conditioned environment as shopping malls and offices. They are the hosts on which COVID survives. But can COVID survive in well-ventilated environment? This is something to be researched upon, and this is the time when we need to research. World over, large number of humans have been confining themselves to artificially ventilated and air-conditioned spaces. Our body itself is a classic example of passive system that continuously adjusts itself to changing temperature, humidity, and air flows in the natural environment. We adjust ourselves. When we come from sunshine to shadow, we adjust ourselves. Similarly, architecture spaces in ancient times have been created, very unique to each climatic zone, which provides necessary body comfort in each region. But active systems have standardized these living conditions. That is the problem. We have to accept that active systems which we employ while traveling, in built forms, in work areas, these have standardized living conditions. And in the process, this standardized living conditions have killed not only the uniqueness of traditional living, traditional architecture of each region, but also the uniqueness of adjusting capacity of a human being. That is also killed. No capacity for a human being to adjust to the changing environmental conditions because of standardized living conditions created by active systems. There have been a lot of questions on active systems by many of the participants who have sent to me in advance, but I believe that active systems has only standardized living conditions, and it is high time we thought about these active systems, how to get rid of this active system and get back into the natural systems of living. In today's emergency situation of COVID pandemic, it is worth studying who or what kind of humans are most affected, architecturally speaking. How can we do this as architects and planners? Study what kind of humans are most affected because of COVID. Can we create data based on their architectural background? Do they belong to the category of folks living and working in an environment dependent on active systems? Or the pandemic has struck people who live in natural surroundings? Or will continue to strike people living in natural surroundings? Or will continue to strike people living in actively supported environment? This is a question we have to ask. This time, I believe, COVID time is ripe for immense amount of data which is today available to us to do research as architects and planners. And where is this data available? This data is now available. Live data is getting created day by day because of this COVID pandemic. Data which is available to architects and planners to figure out, to understand the relationship between health and human built environment. People know that a physician plays an important role in their health. We all know it. But sometimes building designers can play a very nearly equal role. This is something to be understood. Building designers such as architects and planners who bring together several buildings in a dense formation of what we call settlement or city, they also play an equally important role like a physician. And it is time, especially in these COVID times, that we started researching the role of architecture and planning in human health and longevity. Unless we research this, we will be nowhere, because we will just keep running from one kind of shelter to another in search of comfort conditions, especially from the point of view of longevity and health. So now, this is one tip which occurred to me, that we have this app which government has created and which has now been declared as an open source code. With an open source code declared only yesterday. To start researching, we need data. So why not add the nature of a person's living environment as part of Arogya Setu, so that we can compare the health conditions of the person living in the built environment, and the data that we collect from different parts of our experience by individuals and families living in different built environment. I'm sure it is possible to create through this open source code some aspects of built environment. If it can be fed into this app, that will become a wonderful set of big data available for architects and planners to look at how to create a better sustainable built environment to stay safe and stay healthy. I think I would end with this, and because if it is all true, why not go back? Let's open the windows to a better world. Let us not keep our windows shut. Let us just open the windows to a better world and live in ventilated environment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate your opening statement. You said very rightly that the previous speaker started with big and you started with small. It is very well appealed in your presentation with a lot of illustrative, graphical and pictorial presentation, which really will be of a great food for thought for our planners and architects. And you highlighted very well in terms of the rich traditional design, what we admire in our tradition, in our early childhood. But now today we are moving on to modern and conventional way of living. But what is more important is that you very rightly say that it is also the concern of creating a livable future is not only with the health in terms of doctors and medical practitioners, but yes, very much true. It is an architect and planners to create a better house for living. Thank you so much for your enlightening presentation. I hope the audience will have a great takeoff from this.